Hello and welcome once again to Loveland's Talking. My name is Andy Hiller. I'm the Public Information Officer here at the city, here to share with you, the public, information about what's going on with your city government. Today we're going to talk about a special place to visit for a day or a few days, whatever. It's a place with a lot of things to see and do and enjoy, and you may have even heard about it, and perhaps, I'll bet you've even been there. It's a place called Loveland, Colorado. How about that? Okay? As you probably know, there's a large-scale effort that's underway. It's been underway for a while to bring visitors and tourists here to Loveland for an afternoon, a day, or a few days, whatever. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with some folks who have been deeply involved in this, more hours than they probably want to think about, for quite some time. We will be discussing why this is happening, the background behind it, what's been done, what's ahead, and a bit more. So, with that, I'm going to ask our guests to introduce themselves, who they are, their job title, and who they work for, and briefly, not too much detail, how you're involved with this effort. And I'm going to start with Cindy because I know Cindy the best.
My name is Cindy Mackin. I'm the Visitor Services Coordinator for the City of Loveland. I work for Betsy Hale, and I was hired on in late February of this year as the coordinator, trying to get this whole Destination Loveland moving and implement the marketing strategy created by Community Marketing Commission. And
you were hired specifically for this effort.
For this effort.
You weren't here before.
I was not here before.
This came to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was a wonderful opportunity.
Okay. Let's go with the gentleman on the end.
Thank you. I'm John Metcalf. I'm owner of Perfect Square, a local graphic design company, and we were brought on board to help do the design and implementation of the Destination Loveland brand.
Okay, we'll talk more about that. When you say local, you're talking right here.
Right here in Loveland. Yep.
Give us an address. Give yourself a plug for your business.
We're Perfect Square, and we're located here in Loveland, in the Mariana Butte area.
Okay. Linda?
And my name is Linda Huey. I am chair of the Community Marketing Commission, and I have been involved with the Community Marketing Commission from the very beginning. So I've been very active. I am a volunteer who was interviewed and appointed a position by the City Council of Loveland and serve on a 7-member commission with 2 alternates.
Okay. And so this whole effort has a name. Didn't have a name when it began, but part of the work that you guys have been involved in resulted in the name, and it is called Destination Loveland. It's an extensive effort to bring people to Loveland, and I guess the first question would be why? Why do we want to bring visitors and tourists and those sorts of folks to our community?
I think there's so many reasons why. I've had a lot of opportunity lately to hang out at the Visitor Center, and I've met a lot of folks that are coming here, and I'm so excited to tell them about all the wonderful things that we have here, and a lot of people have already experienced those things. The whole point is to get the word out there that Loveland is a tourism destination and that we are open for business, and it hasn't ever really been marketed that way. There's a lot of different things, from the arts to recreation to shopping to restaurants to all of those different things. And everybody was kind of marketing themselves differently, and we're trying to pull that all together in a unified front and just kind of market Loveland as that tourism destination.
And I think also there was a recognition by the City Council and ultimately by the citizens that it provides economic development. And tourism is a legitimate form of economic development for our community, to enhance our community. Tells a story about our community and who we are. It can draw in new businesses and innovation into the community, and create a much more thriving community. And I think that that was part of the recognition in why we needed to do this.
The economic health.
It's a definite economic driver, for sure.
Okay. Well, good. So this has been kind of talked about for not just recently, but for years. And the lodging tax is very much involved with this, and that goes back a few years too. Would anybody like to give us a bit of history on the lodging tax, because it wasn't always here?
I'll go ahead and take that one. This lodging tax this was the.
Explain what a lodging tax is.
Well, a lodging tax is many cities use a lodging tax to fund tourism. And oftentimes it's to fund conventions and visitor bureaus or other destination management organizations. It is paid for by visitors. It is not paid for by residents unless a resident stays in a hotel.
So basically, it's a tax on your hotel bill.
Exactly.
And what is it? 5%, 3%, 4?
3%.
3%. Okay, so if it costs you $100 to stay overnight, basically the city gets
$3.
$3. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. And when this was initially thought of many years ago, several years ago, and it was actually placed as a ballot at least 2 times before in the city of Loveland before it was approved. In 2009, Carol Johnson, one of the city councilors, really wanted to try and push the lodging tax a little bit further and get it actually approved. And we had a lot of different supporters for that. That included the hotels, the arts community, even the museum and the Rialto, the sporting community, the recreation community. They all kind of got together and decided that this really was something we needed to do, primarily because there were so many different.
Right.
And we'll talk about that some more. So in 2009, this passed, okay. And it was November of 2009, and a part of the terminology of the ballot initiative was that you had to have a community marketing commission, a 7-member, 2 alternate commission.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you because we're going to get to that in a slide further on. The money that's raised from the lodging tax can only be spent for what? It's earmarked.
It is earmarked
relative to what we're talking about today.
It must meet the mission and the purpose of the tourism initiatives that we are taking on. So it could only be used for destination marketing. It could only be used for tourism and for marketing of the city of Loveland for those purposes.
So the money raised can't be used for the police department or the library or anything else, strictly for this purpose.
Right.
And help me if I don't know if that I remember this clearly. Was that earmark part of the earlier ballot measures that failed, or just during this one that passed? Do you guys recall?
My understanding is that I'm not exactly sure. I do know that there were changes in the 2009 ballot language from the previous languages that were more palatable to people. So I wouldn't doubt if that earmark had been included in the language this time.
And I'm going to reiterate that so the money that's raised from this doesn't come from local residents' taxes when they buy a basketball or go to the supermarket. It's strictly people who stay in hotels, which are basically visitors from out of town, because if you live here, for the most part, you don't stay in a hotel. So you've done well financially with this, right? You had an expectation of a certain amount.
Yeah, when the ballot language was first written, the estimates for how much tax we would collect was $400,000. In our first year, we exceeded $500,000. In our second year, we exceeded $600,000. And we are currently on track for bumping up against $700,000 possibly.
Wow. Cool.
So every year we're seeing an increase, which means that the activities that we're doing are successful.
Right, and it's kind of a positive circular thing, because the more people you bring to town, the more money it generates.
Spend more on marketing, and it's a cyclical.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so with that money, as you started to mention, and I interrupted you, or part of the initial requirement was to set up a marketing commission and an organization to oversee all of this.
Right. And this is a group of volunteers that are appointed by the City Council to participate on the Community Marketing Commission. We each serve a 3-year term and can be nominated for more terms in the future if we wish to stay on. We have a chair and a vice chair. I am currently chair, and Judy Saffel serves as vice chair. And this group initially in the first year met once a week. For 2 hours every week for a year. And in the second year, we started meeting monthly. And we put a lot of time and energy into getting things up and running at first. So that was part of the commission's requirements.
There are 6 names up there.
There are, but we have 7 positions. So we have an open position. We are taking applications for that. We're also taking applications for 2 committed alternates who would come to all of the meetings.
So here's your chance for a plug. If somebody wants to apply, how and where do they do that?
Please go to the City of Loveland website, click on commissions, and go to the Community Marketing Commission, and it will give instructions as to how to turn in your application, which is an online process. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said you were meeting once a month, and now once a week, and now you're meeting once a month. That's because now you have Cindy day to day, right?
Right. Yes, we do have a day-to-day person, and that has made it easier.
Yeah. Okay. So this all began with some effort to kind of define all of this and come up with a vision and a mission, and we've kind of talked about it in general. I won't read it to people. They can read it themselves on the screen. And then there were some people that were hired to do some greater work on this and create a strategy and some goals. Can you explain that?
Yeah, and before we actually hired some people to do the research and come up with what we really needed to understand about our city, the commission was initially tasked with creating a grant process. And that grant process, we handed out about $250,000 into the community to promote events and bring in new opportunities into our community. But it was determined about 6 months into the process that we really needed to hire a firm to help us. Now, this was determined by about 40 stakeholders that got together in July of 2010 to help us determine what steps we needed to take next. And that really had to do with getting a strategic plan in place so that we could create a true brand for the city. Okay. So we did that.
I'm going to jump to some of the goals that this research and resulted in, and I'm told I'm one shy, which is the story of my life here. But let's go through these goals here real quickly, if you would. Cindy, you want to go through them quickly?
Just to create an organizational structure.
And that's what we've been talking about here with you and the commission and that sort of thing.
Community Marketing Commission, coordinate with economic development. And that's basically what we've done is I work for the Economic Development Department. We've made it all a part of that. Enhance the city's visual appeal, which we're currently doing and very excited.
That's a very long-term thing.
It is a long-term
It is.
thing. And
it's bricks and mortar and
it's a collaboration.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
with a lot of different departments.
That's correct.
Support programs and events.
Which we do. We have an events item line, and we work with Engaging Loveland for our events right now, and work through them to help create destination events for the city of Loveland.
And we also collaborate with others such as the ranch, even the museum and the Rialto, and so there's many local city organizations that we collaborate with, but there's also other organizations that we bring in as partners to help us.
Wonderful new partnership with the Eagles that we're very excited about, and a lot of other wonderful partnerships just to create those kind of events. People don't realize that Loveland is so fortunate to have event venues like the ranch, like the Budweiser Event Center in our backyard. That it's the second largest event center in the state, and we're able to bring those big shows that aren't able to go everywhere else. They can come to Loveland, and people are amazed that we have this in our backyard.
And as a participant, a spectator at the Budweiser Event Center, over the last few years. There's not a bad seat in the house.
There's not.
I don't mean to disparage the Pepsi Center, but my wife and I went there for a Nuggets game a couple of years ago, and I had a much better seat on the couch in front of the TV, and it was much less costly. But whether it's the Eagles or
We've had 340 sellout games. So
wow,
and it's 5,280 seats in that venue. So there are a lot of people coming to Loveland for events. So we're just trying to collaborate with those marketing partners and do the best we can to help each other bring more people to Loveland.
And I want to mention one thing, because you mentioned it briefly, and that is Engaging Loveland, which is really not a city-sponsored organization. Yeah. However, it's an organization with a great calendar that lists all the events, whether they're city-sponsored or they're big events, or it's a group coming to a bar and grill to play on a weekend, that sort of thing, or kids' events. So if you want to see what's going on in Loveland this weekend for something to do, engagingloveland.org, is that?
Yes, and actually we are getting together and putting our calendars together. We're in the process, and I know we'll talk about this later, of developing our website, but we will have a cloud calendar that will connect Engaging Loveland and the new Destination Loveland website, so that we really will be able to push all of the event information out.
So the last bullet on there, promote Loveland as a visitor destination, that's basically what we're talking about.
All of these things kind of come together to do that.
And Linda, you said I missed one, so please tell me what I missed.
On the next slide.
Oh, never mind. Okay, so these are some of the things that the research found that draws people to Loveland. Is that right?
That is correct.
And let me just make a plug for those researchers. Corona Research and Toolbox were the ones that were hired by the Community Marketing Commission and the City of Loveland. They ended up doing a 6 to 8 month process to come up with these identities that are within Loveland for us to be able to promote. So we're really grateful for the work that they did, and that we were able to then take that work to come up with a true strategic plan for how we want to market Loveland in the future.
Okay. And one of the first things, and it's happened and it's been established, is creating a brand. And John is the really hands-on person with all of this. So first of all, let's get a broad definition. What is a brand? When I say a brand, I think of a Coca-Cola can. You know, sure. But it's more than that, really.
So a brand can be a lot of elements that come together, such as logos, advertising, marketing messages that help promote the product or service of a company or organization. And also a brand is what people recognize that organization or service to be.
Okay, so with that in mind, we've been the Sweetheart City for a long time. Whoops. And the brand, well, I'll get back to this in a minute. The Sweetheart City for a long time, and we've had a lot of other slogans or taglines or mottos or brand labels in my layman's vernacular. Here are the ones that were identified.
And actually, this turned out to be a disadvantage for the City of Loveland in some ways, because because we didn't have a marketing department or a marketing initiative or a strategic plan, individuals took it upon themselves to create their own ideas of what the City of Loveland was. And this creates a difficult time in communicating a clear and distinct message about who the City of Loveland is and what the City of Loveland does. So we needed to be able to come up with a brand that everybody could utilize and that acknowledges all of the wonderful things, including the benefit of being the Sweetheart City, and be able to market all that the City of Loveland is.
Encompassing all of that.
Everything that shows.
And the one thing that was kind of misunderstood in the beginning, and part of this is creating a logo, but it's kind of specific for this purpose. It is not this logo that is going to disappear or change, which is the city government logo, etc.
That will remain the city government logo.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, we can combine the logos in the marketing in some ways. So in different departments of the City of Loveland or things like that. So there's many different ways to utilize the tourism branding logo or slogan or whatever and utilize that in the future with City of Loveland activity.
And the brand didn't just pop into your mind one day when you were in the shower, I'll bet.
No.
What was involved in establishing the brand and moving forward with it?
Sure. So we took all the research that was done by Corona and Toolbox Creative, and we looked over that. They had also put a summary together that really identified that there were a lot of great opportunities in Loveland, but there wasn't one strong enough on its own. We really needed to put together a brand that was malleable, that could fit all these different areas. So once we took that research, we sat down with the CMC and with Cindy, and we just started talking visuals on what they want to see and all of that. And then we went to the quite literal drawing board and started sketching and just really trying to figure out with this research what we wanted to do. We also put goals together that the logo and that this brand needed to achieve, and that was very important. Putting together aesthetics are nice, but they need to meet certain goals.
And you came up with not just one, you came up with a number of, because I remember seeing it, I was watching the Olympics, kind of a bad analogy, but kind of like the Olympic volleyball competition. You had the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and you showed different designs and concepts to people until you finally.
Yes.
And I think that it's important to mention, and I know Linda spoke briefly about this, about how much public outreach went into developing this brand and the research that went into dividing these 6 areas.
This was probably the largest public outreach that the City of Loveland has ever done. Between the research process of the interviews and the surveys and the individual interviews of everybody within our community, all the way to when we were voting, essentially, on the different designs that had come forth and the work that had been done. This really was a tremendous public outreach over years of talking with the community and meeting with the community and pulling those stakeholders in and all of that. So this was a huge effort.
Okay, so now, drum roll, please.
Go. Yay!
So, as we look at it, there are some elements that were massaged, and as you went along, John, you want to kind of explain what we're looking at in a little bit of detail?
Sure, I'd love to. One, just real quick, I want to talk about the goals of the brand, and I think that's important because all of the designs had to, again, focus on those goals. So, as I mentioned, the goal, one of the goals is that the brand needed to be malleable across all the different areas in Loveland. It needs to attract international travelers and vacationers from nearby states and then Colorado residents. And then thirdly, that the brand was forward-thinking. So with that, we put together a lot of concepts, and yes, we worked on this, or came up with this final design. There's several elements there. One, I'll start from kind of the bottom up. We have the mountains that helps identify our location and the gateway to the Rocky Mountain National Park. And then at the very top, the mark that's there, it's a combination of an L and a V, an L and a heart. And the L, obviously, to help represent Loveland, and the heart to represent the love in Loveland and the Sweetheart City.
I got to tell you, I just think that it's when you look at it, it's very simple in its design, but it really does exactly what you said. It married those two elements together in that very simple image there. So
the other thing that I thought was really wonderful about that piece of the design was the sculpture aspect. It almost looks like a sculpture, and so it really does identify the artistic quality that we and experiences that we have here in the city of Loveland.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add that when we talked about going from the bottom up, the Everything You Love tagline, when we spoke about it being malleable, this is very important to us because if we're looking at all of our different identifiers, Sweetheart City, arts, sculpture, recreation, shopping, breweries, Eagles games, whatever it is. Because we have so many different things that we're trying to market, this tagline on the bottom was extremely important that it was going to be able to change. And I know you're going to show some pictures of that and examples of that, but that was key to making this work, is that it couldn't be a one-size-fits-all. It had to go across all of those different interests and be able to represent them. So
Not only the interest, but your target audiences.
exactly. So if we're in a golfing magazine and we were showing, golf, we wanted to put, golf you love below it in a golf picture. So we needed to be able to target those specific people when we were marketing to them, and that tagline and the ability to change it just made that a possibility.
Geographically, are there target markets that you're trying to reach?
Actually, there are, yes. As we're talking about, and I know we'll get into this, what we're doing next, again, being out of the visitor center the last week, and it just solidified what I already knew was true, is we have a lot of people from Texas. A lot of people from Texas that come up here, and they come up to escape the heat. The summer, I don't know, but they do, and they love it up here, and it's not humid, and they love the mountains, and they love the whole setting. But that's just one market that we really are seeing a lot from. Obviously, our neighboring states around here, from New Mexico, Kansas, Wyoming, we get a large percentage of traffic from Wyoming. We're targeting them. And then also, if you look at the state of Colorado statistics, they are also targeting, like Illinois and Phoenix would be their tertiary markets that they're going after as well. And they see a lot of people.
Phoenix, since we have direct air service, basically.
We do, from Allegiant, and it's so exciting. Since we've... And Las Vegas. And since we've started the new Phoenix route, though, the request for rental cars went up so much they had to get them over there at the actual airport. So we are tracking how many people are coming in from Phoenix and staying here. And, those people we're trying to target in the summertime when it's way too hot down there, they come up here, and we're enjoying that as well. So
That's the opportunity to visit them. And
it's all right. It's a reverse snowbirds, yeah. So.
Okay, so let's look at how some of these brands, the brand is being used, and this is, I presume, John's graphic work here that we're seeing. What are we looking at here? What is this slide showing?
So yeah, these are some billboards that we put together to entice people to exit and head over to the visitor center and check everything out.
And do these boards currently exist?
Yes.
Where?
They're out on I-25 and right near Johnson's Corner.
I see. Okay. Good. Okay. And here are some, like postcards to me, but tell us what I'm looking at here.
These are some signage boards that are in the visitor center, and as you can see, they are promoting the different areas of interest. And so as we have the art and the sculpture, it does, if you see under there, it does say "Sculpture You Love," and that's what Cindy was discussing, that the tagline changes to the different market. We also have "Golf You Love," and then "Shopping You Love," and then "Restaurants You Love." So those signs are up at the visitor center.
But we may love even more.
But wait,
Right.
there's more.
But wait. Yes.
And so here, again, you have "Art You Love," that not only talks about visual arts, but performing arts and showing the Rialto Theater. We also have "Experiences You Love," where you can come out here and have some great Western experiences. And then on the two sides, we have "Hockey You Love" with the Eagles and "Brews You Love" with the breweries and distilleries that are here in Loveland.
Now, I know if I open the door, you're going to go into this big time. So tell us what you're going to do with the Eagles in a short period of time, because I know you're really enthusiastic about it.
We are very excited to be entering into a marketing partnership with them.
Oh,
Sorry.
cell phone. Cell phone.
Sorry. We're entering into a marketing partnership with them. They are going to be the host of the 2013 All-Star Game in Loveland in January. And as part of that, they kind of came to us. We are interested in trying to have us their players housed out at the Embassy Suites. And so we've entered into a marketing partnership with them, and they're going to be promoting not just the Embassy Suites, but all of the different hotels. And then all of the players will be staying in Loveland, which we're very excited about. That brings another 850 hotel rooms at least before the other people who are following them. Those are just player rooms that are going to be coming to Loveland. And in return, we are getting everything from radio commercials, TV spots. They're going to be showing Loveland commercials. This is the most exciting part. They have 22 different teams that play with the Eagles. And in all of those different markets, in the hockey league, and in 22 different areas around the United States, they are going to be showing a commercial, 30-second commercial for Loveland, which we're just thrilled about. Announcing a video, yeah. They will have a 30-second commercial on their big video board up above, and it's going to be promoting Loveland in 22 different markets.
And I was surprised to see the range of those 22 teams where they extend to geographically. I mean, we're not talking about just nearby states here.
No, it's all over from, I mean, they have from Alaska all the way down to Florida and Georgia and all over. So it's a unique opportunity to promote Loveland to all of these different areas around the United States. And the media impressions alone that we will get and the exposure that we're going to get from this partnership and all of the different advertising, like I said, to the 340 plus sold out games of 5,280 people at the Eagles that are coming here. And a lot of those people are not from here. I mean, a lot of them are locals, but a lot of them are from Wyoming. They're from Denver. They're from Kansas. They're from Nebraska. They come out here for these games, and we are trying to promote ourselves as a destination that you don't just come for the game, but you get to stay and experience all of the wonderful things that we have. So it's just another venue to get the word out about Loveland.
Great.
We're excited about that.
Okay. I've got another example of some of the artwork and branding and promotion. What is this piece?
This is an advertisement that would be placed in a magazine, in a tourism magazine.
Okay. And let's see. Now I've lost my place. The visitor center is next. We were going to talk a bit about the visitor center, and we're waiting for...
I can start to talk about
ahead.
it. So the Visitor Center has been within the city for many, many years. And initially there was an agreement between the city and the Chamber of Commerce within the city of Loveland. But recently the Community Marketing Commission took over the Visitor Center. And in doing so, we have made some changes to kind of rebrand the Visitors Center. And so we're very excited about redesigning it and the new colors and what materials and stuff we have put in. So, for instance, we've got the new City of Loveland mugs and shot glasses.
And even shot glasses. Oh, yeah, we'll drink
got a
that.
T-shirt.
What do I have behind me? Oh, yeah. Just a polo shirt that has the brand on it as well. We had heard a lot from a lot of different people that there wasn't a lot of Loveland merchandise. And I've been seeing as I've been out there that so many people, even locals, are just coming in to send something home, or they're going to a reunion, or they're going to a wedding and they want to bring a piece of Loveland with them or send it to someone. We had a group of Japanese exchange students, and they wanted to bring part of Loveland home. They bought postcards, and they got T-shirts, and it's exciting to be able to get this information. This just kind of further gets the word out about Loveland, and they're excited about having those opportunities.
And I think you have one of the children's items. I sent an item to my grandson.
Here's one. But I'm going to have to find a blue version of this.
There is a blue version.
Because it's a Carter, not a Catherine. Okay.
There's a blue version, and there's also a camouflage version if you need to come over to the visitor center.
A hat with the price tag and the logo on the side as well. This is kind of a multi-purpose one because it also has the city logo and city employees.
And we worked with the Public Works Department on that one.
And that is actually happening. For instance, the breweries, Grimm Brothers, now has a cup and a mug that has both the Grimm Brother logo and the new branding logo on it.
Brews You Love. And then we've also had the Embassy Suites approach us. They are going to be printing up glasses, pint glasses for their bar area with the new logo on it, as well as with everything you
We
love.
have a new brewery that just opened this past week.
Right, Loveland Ale Works, and we're going to be getting some of their merchandise out of the visitor center as well. And that's another thing that has changed about the visitor center. When we were re-merchandising it, we wanted to make sure that, again, we were reaching out locally to all of our Loveland artists and artisans. And I work with Marcy Arion from the Office of Creative Sector and Design, and she gave me a whole list of different artists and artisans, and we have their merchandise out there as well. Everything from balm from the Butte, which is lotions and stuff that are made locally at this woman who lives out of Mariana Butte, to salsa and honey that's made locally. So it really does have that feel, and all of the items in there, most of them are locally made. So.
Additionally, we have trained volunteers who are citizens of the city of Loveland who work at the Visitors Center. So it adds that personalized touch that we've identified, that hometown feel that Loveland has.
They're so knowledgeable about the area. I've been amazed, and I've lived here for 21 years, and I don't know everything. And they seem to know everything about everything and where everything is. And you have to know that when you're volunteering out there, because you get all sorts of different questions. But
I bet they can make recommendations. We know where would I find an Italian restaurant or a Mexican restaurant, or if I'm a great golfer, which course would you recommend, or if I'm a beginner, what might be.
And we're always looking for more information out there. We always like to have local companies bring their brochures out, and we're trying to contact everybody and get all the restaurants out there and get everything. So we really have the full picture. When people come into town, we can give them the information that they want and send them off into our city.
I was just thinking, as you're explaining all of this and all the things to do, as members of the team, is a part of your job to go out and sample all the restaurants and pubs,
Absolutely.
golf courses,
There you go, yeah.
all of that?
No.
Absolutely. Well, I spend a lot of my time in Loveland, and I absolutely love this city, which is why I've been so thrilled to be on this commission and to learn what I've learned in the last 2.5 years that we've been doing this. It really is an amazing, wonderful city.
And we've been very fortunate to get all the work and effort and success from the commission, because you guys are doing this as volunteers.
That's right. And we are looking forward to the future. We are going to be working on some signage in the community to direct people more to the visitor center and to other areas within the city. Cindy's going out to trade shows. We are in negotiations right now to bring the pro cycling event out here next year. So there's
a lot of exciting things happening in Loveland. It's just taken off.
Getting better.
Great. Okay. Well, anything else any of you want to mention before we call it a day?
We're just in, baby steps. So we're making brochures, we're making maps, we're doing all of this fun stuff. Now the fun begins. Now we have our brand, the visitor center is remodeled and open. Now I think is when the real fun begins, and we get to market Loveland, which is where we wanted to, they've been working tirelessly for over 2 years to get to this point, and now we really get to get the word out to everyone about how wonderful Loveland is. So we're excited about it.
More involvement and continued involvement for you, I presume, John.
Yes, and this is, like Cindy mentioned, this is where it gets really fun. It's always exciting to put a brand together, but it's the implementation process of, okay, where are we needing to put pieces together, and what do those need to look like? It gets really, really fun.
Seeing it all come to life and all come together.
And this is a community effort. We are the Community Marketing Commission, and the community has been a part of this from the very beginning, and they will continue to be a part of it as we move forward in the future.
Great. Well, thank you to the three of you for your time and energy here today, and of course all the time and energy behind what we've been talking about. And as always, community, thank you for your interest and time today in watching Loveland's Talking. And we will look forward to seeing you again next month and discuss something else of interest to the community. Take care. Bye-bye.